I'm Jason Tripp. Welcome once again to the Common Ground Cafe for another board game tutorial video. Today we're looking at the 2 to 4 player small little card game called Love Letter. It's a neat little game, 2 to 4 players, a game of risk, deduction, and intrigue. Let's take it to the table. I'll show you how it works and we'll come back up later. I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, here's the setup for Love Letter. So you've got this nice little velvet bag. Inside the bag, the game comes with 16 cards. Basically how the game works is all the players playing in the game, 2 to 4 players, are dealt out 1 card each. And then whoever goes first draws a second card, and they have to play one of the cards on their turn and take the appropriate action for each card. So I've got all the different types of cards laid out here. The first thing I want to do is I want to explain the special ability of each card in the game. And then we'll play around a 3-player game. I've got Megan and Sierra here with me. We'll play and demonstrate how a game works. So in a deck of Love Letter cards, you've got 16 cards. 5 of those cards are this number 1 card called the Guard. And what the Guard does, if any person plays a Guard, basically what they do is they choose another player, and they guess the card the other player has. If they can correctly guess the card the other player has, that player must reveal that card face up, and they are out of that particular round. If it's an incorrect guess, the player simply says, "No, I don't have the card you guessed." The one restriction with the Guard, a Guard can never guess another Guard card. It always must guess a non-Guard card. There are 5 of the 16 cards are Guards, number 1. The number 2 card in the deck is the Priest. When a Priest card is played, the person who plays the Priest card must choose to look at another player's hand. So they pick the player whose card they want to look at. That player secretly reveals that card only to the player who played the Priest card. They don't show it to anyone else. And then they have that secret information for the rest of the game. There are 2 Priest cards in the deck. The number 3 card is the Baron. The Baron, if you play the Baron card, you and another player secretly compare hands. And so the Baron is good to play when your other card in your hand is a high number, because the player with the lower value is eliminated from the round. So the Baron is played. The person who plays the Baron card picks an opponent. They face off their card against their opponent's card. Whoever has the lower value is eliminated from the round. The number 4 card, there's 2 of them as well. You'll see these stars on the card. How many stars there are on the card dictates how many of those there are in the deck. So there are 2 handmade cards. When someone plays the handmade card, until their next turn, they can ignore all the effects from the other player's cards. So whether another player plays a Guard, a Priest, a Baron, whatever card is played, they are immune from all effects until their next turn by playing the handmade. The number 5 card in the deck is the Prince. If the Prince card is played, the person who plays the card can choose any player, including themselves, to discard his or her card, or other card in their hand, and draw a new card. And that's a value of 5. The 6, the 7, and the 8, the 3 highest numbers in the deck, there's only 1 of each of them in the deck. First, the King. The King has a value of 6. And when the King card is played, a trade occurs. The person who played it must trade their other card with another player of their choice. They swap cards immediately. Of course, the danger to playing the King card is as soon as you trade with someone, the person who gave you that card now knows what card you have in your hand, and you may be immune to some of their other cards. That's the King. The Countess, a value of 7. If the person has this card, and their other card in their hand is the King, number 6, or the Prince, number 5, they must discard the Countess rather than those cards. Of course, they can play the Countess at any time they'd like. There's no other effects with the Countess card other than it is forced to be played when someone has the King or the Prince. And finally, the highest number in the deck is the princess. If at any point, for whatever reason, you're forced to discard this card, you are immediately out of the round. Now the game is played, continuation around and around the table it goes. Whenever someone is eliminated from the round, they just sit out. The last person in the round is the winner. If all the cards have been drawn and played from the deck, and there's still multiple players left in the round, at that point they reveal their numbers. Whoever has the highest number left at the end of the round is the winner of that round. So let's play around together. I've got Megan here with me and Sierra. We're going to play a three-person game. So I'll shuffle these up really quick. We'll deal them out just to give everybody an idea of the flow of the game. So you simply shuffle the deck of 16 cards. Each player is given one card. One card is always tossed to the side secretly. Leave the draw pile in the middle of the table. Whoever goes first, so if Megan is a starting player, she draws a second card. We secretly look at our cards.
I'll play a guard.
So Megan plays a guard.
I'll guess your hand. Do you have a handmaid?
Megan guesses I have a handmaid. I do not have a handmaid. So the game continues. Sierra's turn. She draws a card.
All right.
Megan plays the prince card, so she needs to choose either herself or one of us to discard our card and draw a new card. So she asks Megan to discard her card. Megan discards her baron, forces her to draw a new card now, and then play passes to me. My turn, I draw a card, and I'm going to play a guard, and I'm going to guess that Sierra has a king. No, she doesn't have a king, so Megan's turn, she draws.
Okay, I'm going to play a priest.
Megan plays a number 2 priest.
And you look at your hand.
So Sierra secretly shows her card to Megan with the priest, and now it's your turn, Sierra.
All right.
Okay, so Sierra plays a king, forcing her to trade cards with someone. She's going to trade with Megan. My turn, I draw a card. I'm going to play a guard. Some funny business going on here. I'm going to guess Megan has a princess.
I do.
And she does. That was my educated guess. As soon as I saw Sierra play the king, I was wondering if she played that because she had no choice. Maybe she had the princess. She's not allowed to discard. So I deduced that potentially Megan had the princess. So now the game remains between Sierra and I.
All right.
So Sierra plays a handmaid. Smart play. Protects her from all cards until her next turn. So I draw a card. I play a baron. Now normally the baron card would mean we look at our cards, but because Sierra's played a handmaid, both of us know that won't work. So nothing happens because she's protected. It goes back to Sierra's turn.
I'm gonna guess. So you have the countess.
Sierra guesses I have the countess, and she is correct. I have the countess. So Sierra, because she's the last person remaining in the round, she wins. Had these cards all been eliminated and I still had the countess, for example, if these cards were gone, we would simply show our cards at the end, and I would have had the highest and won. But because Sierra correctly guessed I have the countess, I'm eliminated. She would win that round, so she just gets a score of 1. That's how one round works. So typically a game is played until someone has 5 or 7 victories. You can mutually agree with your game party about how many rounds you want to play, and shuffle the cards, redeal, and that's how Love Letter works. So let's go back up. I'll give my final thoughts on the game. Thanks, Sierra and Megan, for joining me. Okay, so that's how to play Love Letter. Great little card game. This has won a lot of awards, this game, over the years. Just give a few final thoughts. This game in my family gets a lot of play. It's one of the games my children and I enjoy playing more than any others. And it actually literally fits in your pocket. So I play this game in airports, waiting for planes. It's a great game to pull out if you've just got a few quick minutes. The theme, I enjoy the theme. This game has been rethemed. You might find it with a Batman theme or other themes, but this is the traditional theme. I enjoy the medieval theme there, and I don't think the theme is just pasted on. It actually plays well with all these medieval characters. I think it works. The aesthetics, the artwork is great. I love the little velvet bag this particular version comes in. Basically, you've just got your rule book, a list of cards that tells you how the game works. I've sleeved the cards. They don't come with the sleeves, but the artwork is great. It really fits the theme. The aesthetics are nice. A ton of replayability in this game as well. You'd think the game can get a little stale. It's pretty simple. It's simple, but it's elegant. And it plays well with different player counts. I think 4 players is the sweet spot. But again, like I said, I've played this game many times over and over again, and we always get a lot of enjoyment from playing it, either as a family or with my gaming group. This is a nice game to introduce people who aren't into the gaming. It's simple, it's easy to pick up. Good little deduction game. The game length, as you saw in the example, really only takes about 5 minutes per round, and so you can set the length of the game as long as you want. Typically, you play until someone wins 7 rounds or 5 rounds, but it's variable, and the game length is perfect. Ease of play, again, you can sit down, you can teach this game in 2 to 3 minutes. The 3-player game today, I literally had just taught it to Megan and Sierra, and we played a couple of full rounds, no problem. Very easy to play and good for children. As long as they can read, my 8-year-old handles this game, no problem. Tactics and strategy, well, there's a little bit of strategy. There's some tactics involved. The key strategy is you got to keep an eye on what cards have been played and revealed to try and deduce what cards might possibly be in the other player's hands. Knowing when to play the cards and which card to play is critical. Of course, there's always luck involved in games like this, but there are some tactics and there is a little bit of strategy, enough to keep the game interesting for those who like strategy games. So all in all, Love Letter's a highly entertaining game. Really, for the price, I can't recommend a game that has more bang for the buck. And it's a good little filler game. 5 to 10 minutes per round. Good for any length of time and good for all ages. So that's Love Letter. Great game. Highly recommend it. One of many games you'll find here at the Common Ground Cafe.